Alright everybody, today we're going to be going over the Dr. Hedo deck, the new and improved Gamma. Is it as good as Blue Gamma? Probably not, but it is a cool concept of a deck. Probably the first, I'm trying to think of all the decks that have been announced in the set. I think this is the only deck that kind of comes across as like pure aggro, right? It kind of staying true to the meaning of red, which is just turning cards sideways. Is definitely what this deck does. Let's go into the front side of the leader, and then we'll go into the rest and kind of see what this archetype entails. So this card attacks. You search top 5, add up to 1 red ribbon army card from your from those to your hand, and shuffle. So you search any red ribbon army card. Obviously, all the Gammas are red ribbon, so you can search all those out. Also search out some other pieces as well. Very good. When your life's at 4 or less, or you have 1 or more each of the Gamma 1 and 2 superhero cards, you draw 2 and strike life down to 6. So you do need 1 of each in play. You can't just have one that has both names on it. You need 1 of each. Then we have the Awakened side, Dr. Hedo. Permanent. During your turn, your Gamma 1 and 2 cards that cost 2 gain Barrier. So during your turn, they have Barrier. Auto. Once per turn, if you discard one red ribbon army card from your hand, when your red Gamma 2 card attacks, draw 2. So specifically Gamma 2, not Gamma 1. Activate main, choose up to 1 Gamma 1. Switch it to active mode. That costs 3 or less. A lot of interesting things here, right? Very interesting pieces of that Gamma 1 and 2 can do kind of differently. So Gamma 2 is going to draw you cards, while Gamma 1 is going to be an extra swing. However, might be able to mix those cards. There might be cards, obviously, that have both character names on it, so you're getting kind of a 2-for-1. So this leader does some very interesting things, has very good cycling, being able to pitch a card and draw 2. That's always good. Creates an extended attack window, which means you can attack, and then you can eventually restand that card to then create another attack window, which is very cool. And also reducing combo and combat tricks and their effectiveness on your turn. Being able to, like Supreme Kai negate, right? They go to negate. They can't choose one of your other Gamma cards and warp it for the turn because they're gonna have Barrier. So this is very cool. This is a way for you to even against like yellow, right? Your opponent goes to like Black Kamehameha. They can't type down your other guys. They can't pause. There's a lot of cool things you can kind of work around where they can't actually affect your card. So let's get into the rest of the archetype and kind of see what we have. So Dr. Hedo's Laboratory. This is the Z extra card you're going to be playing this deck. This one actually is incredible for this deck. Z stacks 1 cell that costs 3 from your Z deck. Activate main if your leader's a red ribbon army. You play up to 1 Gamma 1 with energy cost less than or equal to the energy from your hand in rest mode. So if you're at 3 energy, you can play a 3 cost, a 2 cost, or a 1 cost. If you're at 4, you can play a 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Like, that's very cool. So you're getting a free play return, and it is in rest mode, but remember, your leader does restand Gamma 1s, so you can play it out for free, proc a bunch of effects, then activate main, restand it. Activate main for 1 red. If you have 4 more energy, you discard 1 magenta card from your hand. Play 1 red cell max, energy cost 3 from under this card, and then remove this card from the game. So this card allows you to play out the 3 cost for essentially 2, kind of an extended 2 energy, because you're paying 1 for probably it on turn 2, and then you're going to pay another 1 for it later on in the game. So the 2 Dr. Hedo cards, we have 1, a Heroic Brain. This one, if your leader is red ribbon and you have a Gamma 1 and 2 in play, this card gets 1k power and can attack battle cards in active mode. That's pretty cool. Second effect, though, you can search top 5 for any red ribbon army, so it's essentially another form of your leader. 2 drop, Dr. Hedo Heroism and Aesthetics. You combo this card if you have a Z extra card in your battle area. When you combo this card from your hand, you tap 1 red and you get to play Gamma 1 or 2 that cost 15k power or less with energy cost less than or equal to your current energy from your deck, then shuffle. I believe they all cost at least 2, so you can't do this turn 1. You have to do this turn 2. So turn 2, you combo this, you tap 1 red, you play a Gamma then from your hand, from your deck, and it comes in an active mode. It's pretty cool. And then this card, when you combo it, you can then put it into your Z energy, and then use the Z energy to play out the laboratory to then play another Gamma 1 or 2, and then you can awaken. That's kind of one of the play lines here. So the 2 drops we have a new hero created by Dr. Hedo, both Gamma 1 and 2. Gamma 1 actually has the flex, Gamma 2 does not. But Gamma 2 also has a different effect on it. So if you have a Gamma 1 card in play, you reduce the cost of this card in your hand by 1. So, cool thing is you can play Gamma 1, a new hero created by Dr. Hedo, off of the laboratory or off of the Dr. Hedo card we just showed off. Play this card, then you can tap 1 to play the Gamma, right? The Gamma 2. So Gamma 2, when you have a Gamma 1 card, when a Gamma 1 card is switched to active mode by a Dr. Hedo skill, you switch this card to active mode as well. So for your leader effect, you can restand a Gamma 1, which then will also restand your Gamma 2. So you're getting 2 attackers then for 1 effect, which is very cool. Gamma 1, when this card attacks, use one red ribbon army card with 5k combo power from your drop with the skills negated, so it becomes a 15k. When this card is switched to active mode by a Dr. Hedo skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards. It and this card get minus 5k power for the turn. So this is something to keep in mind. So a lot of these effects you'll see on some of the other Gamma cards as well. They are reducing the power of the Gamma card because there's another card in the deck that sort of bumps it up. So they really wanted to limit the strength of this deck, because if these didn't have this minus 5k, you could potentially have 25k swingers for 1 energy, if not for free, multiple attacks, and that's not a good thing for the game to have something like that. So at least in my opinion. Then we have the Z card, which is arguably maybe the best, if not the second best card in this entire archetype. Arrival of Heroes. It's a 2 cost, 2Z, 15k unique. If you have 1 or more each of Gamma 1 and 2 in play, reduce this card in your Z deck by 1 red and 1 Z cost. It becomes a 1 drop, 1 Z energy. If you have 3 more energy, your red Gamma 1 and 2 cards get 5k during your turn. Then limit 1 if if your red Gamma 1 card is switched to active mode by your Dr. Hedo skills. You switch this card to active mode, and this card also gains double strike. Pretty cool. So this card does a lot, and kind of going in tandem with the leader, you are giving not only all of your Gamma 1 and 2s that cost 2 barrier, including this card, you are then also pumping all of your Gamma 1-2 cards by 5k. So when they minus by 5k, this card also pluses them by 5k. So it kind of forces you to have to play this not great card in some senses, right? Like, it's a very powerful card on your turn. On your opponent's turn, it doesn't have barriers. It's a 15k with no defense. It's going to probably get steamrolled on your opponent's turn. But the fact that it gains barrier on your turn, and you're going to be able to swing with it probably twice. Once for 20k, once for 20k double strike, more than likely. That's a very powerful skill. So again, this card also restands when you switch a Gamma 1 to active mode. So you can switch any Gamma 1 to active mode. This card will restand. If you remember, the other Gamma 2 card will restand. So you're just swinging multiple times. And the goal with this deck, it seems to be kind of like a turn 3 average kill is what you're looking to do. Since you're able to free play so much stuff, you probably want to try to kill as early as possible, because on your opponent's turn they're going to be able to clap back. If they're able to just remove these resources, now you have to build everything back up again. That's not so great. But on your turn, this card's fantastic. So then we have the other two. These are the rare slots for Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. We have Suicide, Attack, Departure, and Gamma 1 Hero Pride. So these are very iconic parts in the movie. Obviously, if you've seen the movie, you haven't seen the movie, probably should go see it. This is where Gamma 2 tries to collide with Cell Max and blow him up, and instead blows himself up. So 25k critical. When your red Gamma 1 is switched to active mode by a Dr. Hedo skill, switch this card to active mode. This card gains the following skill for the turn at the end of the battle when this card is attacked. When this card attacks, place this card in the order's drop. Additionally, if your opponent has 3 or more life, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So you also can play this for 2 if you have a Gamma 1 in play. This is cool. This allows you to essentially, you swing with this card for 25k crit. You then restand a Gamma 1. This card will restand, and then it gains the effect of at the end of the battle, this card blows up and deals damage to your opponent if they're 3 or more. So you can take someone from 4 to 2 essentially with this card. And then you have Gamma 1 Pride. When this card attacks, you get to do the same effect as the other Gamma 1 where you combo with the 5k. Then when this card is switched to active mode by a Dr. Hedo skill, you draw 1. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards. It and this card get minus 10k. So instead of the 5k minus with the combo, this card gets a draw 1 and a minus 10k with the combo effect as well. So just a little bit better version of the other card. This card can only be cheated off of the laboratory. You can't play this card out for cheap or any other way. All right, then we get to the Gamma 1 and 2 Heroes Mission. This is the super rare for the archetype, which is incredible. Activate battle if your leader's red and your opponent has 3 more energy. You draw 1, play the card from your hand, then choose one of your red cards and it gets 10k for the battle. So it's a 1-drop cantrip that gives something 10k buff. However, when this card's played, you choose one of your red ribbon army cards and it gets plus 5k for the turn, so you can give something else 5k. So if you're swinging with something, especially like the crit guy, you can make him a 30k crit. Technically a 40k crit on the first attack, and then a 30k crit on the second attack, which is a lot of damage. Auto, when your Gamma 1 card is switched to active mode, switch this card to active mode. So again, all the Gamma 2s are able to restand themselves, and you're picking one Gamma 1 to restand, while all the other 2s will then restand, which is crazy. Also, this is not a limit 1. The second effect's not a limit 1. The activate main is a limit 1. But if this card sticks on board, you have multiple of them, they will all restand, and then all gaining 5k off of the Z card. So again, you have a lot of swings that you can just potentially be bombarding your opponent with. If they can't deal with it, they're just gonna get overrun by these androids. So that's kind of an overview of the archetype. We're now going to jump into the deck breakdown portion of the video and see what we come up with. Hopefully it's good. If you guys do enjoy this video, if you guys enjoying the content, please make sure you guys like and subscribe, smash the notification button, all those cool YouTube buttons, right? Just to help support the channel. We are still on our way to 2,000 subs, so hopefully we'll get there. Hopefully by the end of the year, that is the goal. So let's now jump into the deck breakdown and see what we come up with. All right, so we have the deck here, so we're going to go through this real quickly and see what we came up with. I believe this is a 50 card deck, if I'm not mistaken. We'll check at the end. So we wanted to be as consistent as possible since this is an aggro deck. So we have 4 of each of the Dr. Hedo cards. This is great for turn 1 if you are going first, searching top 5. And then being able to Z charge it on your opponent's attacks, then you can play out the laboratory. Also, if you're going second, you might want to keep an energy up, so you can use this effect. Then you can combo this guy on your turn 2 to play out a Gamma 2 or 1, and then on your next turn playing another one, so then you can awaken. All right. So then we have the Gamma 2 and Gamma 1, a new hero created by Dr. Hedo. Again, you're going to max out on all of these. And this is honestly a pretty boring, I want to say a boring template, but I probably spent more time on this deck than I did any of the other red decks, because I was trying to figure out the least amount of archetype cards I can run, so I can run just other red good stuff. But the problem is this deck is so heavily reliant on Gamma 1s and Gamma 2s. Cutting them just feels bad. Running untapped hands and just with consistency, this deck you need to have as many Gamma 1 and Gamma 2s as possible. In the future, and I'm sure we will get support for it because this is it's a movie, they're going to promote it. And it's just a fun archetype. Having more Gamma 1 and Gamma 2s are going to make this deck even better. So this might be an archetype that's not very good right now for competitive play, but maybe in a few sets if we end up getting a promo. Like, I would have rather seen a champ card for Dr. Hedo than I would have liked to see for the Universe 3 or whatever that archetype was with Koitsukai and stuff in it that we're getting this year, which is just an awful card for a really bad archetype. They could have printed a champ card for this set and we would have been fine. So enough ranting about that. We have the Gamma 1 Hero Pride and then the Gamma 1 and 2 SR. Here we did the SPR art because it's fantastic. So we are running 3 of this guy. And I just talked about consistency. So this is one of the cards we could cut down the from 4 to 3 because we can only play it off of the laboratory effect. You cannot play this card off of this effect. I believe it has to be a... Oh, no, actually, you can play it off this. Yeah. Never mind. So you actually can play it off of this. I felt like this was... this card or the 2-drop you could probably do this with. So I guess kind of put my own foot in my mouth here. I didn't actually read that part. I thought it said 2 or less. So regardless, I think we're at 50 cards, so I wanted to make it consistent. Felt like it was fine. Yeah, my logic behind it was that you couldn't play it off the Dr. Hedo, but you can play it off of it. So if you want to run 4 with this card, go ahead. But for this, is out of the cards, I felt like this was the one to kind of cut down to 3. This card is just better to run as a 4 of. Like, if it was between these 2 cards, which one you're going to cut down to 3, it was going to be the other Gamma 1. 3 of the magenta, so we need this card in order to play the cell from underneath our Z extra card, but also this can give any red ribbon armor card double strike if you combo it and tap 1 red. So it's also a cantrip. This is basically your in archetype Champa. You can throw this on top of the crit guy, you can throw this on top of any of your other guys, even like the double striker from the Z deck. Well, I already have double strike, but you know what I mean. Like, you can make any of your cards double strikes, like the card from your Z deck is what I'm trying to say. 2 of the Suicide Attack Departure. This card costing 2, this was not as good. It's a very cool effect, but you're probably playing this on your kill turn. So you don't need a ton of them, and it's searchable, so we don't need a ton. 2 of these Cell Max. We didn't talk about this card, obviously, in the front part of the video. This is just a generic good red card. It's a 1-drop 25k that will restand itself to be a blocker, and then if it blows up, it kills something 30k, or basically makes something 30k, like shrinks by 30k power. This is a cool card. I needed to fill some of the empty spaces with just good red stuff, so this is just one of those cards, and it's searchable off of the Dr. Hedo here, searchable off this card here, and it's searchable off of the leader as well. The front side of the leader also searches out just Red Ribbon Army cards, and this is a Red Ribbon Army card, so you can search it out. 4 Trunks Deluge of Power. Probably the most overused card in this deck, or overtuned card in this deck. Being able to combo and give an additional 5k to a card for the turn is incredible, and it's not a limit 1, right? So these type of cards, the Dragon Brawl combos, they're all a little ridiculous. So they're a 10k combo, but then the 5k sticks for the duration of the turn. So not only are you able to pump your guys by 5k, we're gonna have barrier. You're now able to have a free 10k combo, and then that 5k sticks around. So then you're able to turn these, like, you know, this is a 20k. You can turn this into a 25k. You can turn this into a 30k. Not to mention this combo, right? Like, you have so many little pieces for combo purposes. This card is just incredible. It's not searchable, which is, thank God. But this is your big combo piece for the deck and how you're going to push a lot of pressure in. 3 Broly, 3 Gohan, standard red stuff. I think you're going to see this in any red archetype more than likely. This card's cool because I didn't notice this at first. So for each Z energy and the cost of Z cards in your leader or battle area, reduce this card by 1. So this also includes Z extra cards, because it just says it just says Z cards in your battle area. So we don't have a Z leader for this, but we do have Hedo Lab. So the Hedo Lab will reduce this by 1 automatically, and then the Gamma 1 and 2 will make this card cost 1. So just another powerful red card. Also, just having another crit guy, I think this is good too. We only included 2 just for deck space. 4 Beerus Motivated Destruction. Same thing, same kind of conversation with the Cell deck that I talked about already. Is that one, you have the ability of negging cards, and I think it's very, very powerful. This, we want to be able to push our opponent even if we're above 4 life, and having to rely on Raditz will kind of stifle your, if you're not able to get down the 4 life quick enough, it's going to stifle your pushing turn. So being able to use this card at any life and still be a 10k combo, it's pretty good. I think we're going to see the rise of this card back again. Obviously red right now is not very popular, but I think this card will do very well in this next format with all these new red decks. I think this card will help kind of push this deck into potentially being meta relevant at some point. 3 Tests in the Ops for defense, 2 Beerus Balls, because we're able to free play so much stuff. We want to be able to stop an opponent's Floodgate. So we can use this card to bounce at 15k or less to the drop area. So Robotic Riposte, Defending Friends, that type of fun stuff, we can get rid of it. 1 Super Saiyan Vegeta Heated Fighting Spirit. We just needed a good overwhelm card. This is just better than Dark Broly because it also has a 5k combo. The secret rare is going to be Pan. So this is weird. I realized, I'm like, oh man, Dr. Hedo is not a Saiyan, so we can't run Vegito. Tapping 4 for Vegeta just seems really bad. What else can we run? So we play a lot of battle cards. This is probably the best secret rare for this deck right now, unless they announce something else later on in the future. It is a counterattack, so you can kind of floodgate your opponent, and it gets reduced for every battle card in play by 2. So this card can go down to being a 0 cost if there are 4 battle cards in play. Then you also can tap 1 and remove this card from the game and gain control over any card. That's pretty cool too. But being able to swing with all these 20 and 25Ks and then flap this down, this and your overwhelm down, you have a 30K and a 40K swing. That's pretty incredible. No double strikers or anything anymore, so you can't really give this. It's basically just a 40K flat damage, but as a last ditch effort attack, I think it's pretty good. And then for the Z deck, we have one Hedo Lab, one Cell, which is the cell you're going to be playing underneath it. It's a barrier blocker. 3 of the Arrival of Heroes. This card is very very valuable to the archetype and being able to bump your cards and also being a double striker for 1 energy. So this is a card you need to have, and being able to cost 1 energy and 1 Z energy, you need to run it as much as possible. This card's going to get removed probably every other turn or every turn, so being able to, this is a card you will want to pay 1 for. And then the last 2 cards are going to be Rush Attack. Better than Defenders of Life, just because we are going to be able to build the energy. So at some point, we can slam this guy down and hopefully get some swings in with it. So that is the archetype. We are at 50 cards flat. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, hit the like button, as I said before. Hopefully you guys are excited about Critical Blow. I think this is probably one of the best sets that Bandai has released when it comes to just the entire archetype. The entire set is very interesting. I think all of them are good in their own rights. This deck here, I think, is primed to be a very good aggro deck. I just don't know if it's going to be this format or a format down in the future, because we do need to see a ban list or something for this next set. If there's going to be a ban list, there might not be. But we'll see. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, thank you guys for the support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.